Welcome back to Muddy Monday at Ellis Park. I don't know, Terry, that we've ever done Ellis Park before, have we?
Yeah, we did it one time a long time ago. So
Hopefully we did it right back then.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, we're
And
certainly
then
going to try.
you and Charles did it one day too. So,
Oh, did we do it? So we did it twice then, huh?
yeah.
Well, I did not know because my brain doesn't go back that far. As always, though, I do remember that we do have free picks today over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. If you're interested at all in doing Finger Lakes today, there is a free picks down there in the description below. You see it right down there. The track is fast, firm, so they should have plenty of good racing up in the Finger Lakes area. Beautiful part of the I don't know, is it mid-upper part of New York, I guess.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when our show is over, we'll put all of our notes over here. You'll find them along with the replay of today's video. And while you're there, kindly click on the HRT gear link right there. Come on over to our shop. Get yourself a Horse Racing Today cap. Again, we can put them in any colors, but I do think white or black are the best too. Maybe gray works right there as well. See Terry sporting the red #1 hat. It was a hustle for me to get ready today, Terry. I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start with race #1 at Ellis Park on this Muddy Monday.
Well, it's a 6.5 furlong. It's an optional claiming race, $20,000 claiming price, purse $33,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claim price of $10,000 or less in 2023, 2024, or a claiming price of $20,000.
Yes, and so far at Ellis Park, 9 races at the distance. Early speeds done pretty well. Just one of the 9 went wire to wire, so just before, not necessarily on the lead. Sitka's out, but the rail does have a penalty. 2 and 3, a little bit of a bonus. So far, nobody's won from 8 or out. 10,000 simulations, Terry. We do here. We got this backwards. Let's go about putting that right. 10,000 simulations, looking for the horses that have the best chance to get to the lead. And then on top of that, we want to see, based upon our projected early pace, who's got the best trip possibility. So putting the horse in their comfort zone. How many times in our 10,000 simulations a horse ran a speed figure of par or better? Looking at that for this particular race here, the par speed figure being 85, Terry. And then, of course, we want our simulated odds to be a little bit lower than post-time odds so we can get some value. Where is all the speed in here, Terry?
Well, the 8, 4, and 6 show all the speed, so I think this is one of those anyone's guess who gets to that quarter pole first. Then the 5 has an overlay of, let's see, it's almost 6-1 to 10-1. The 9 has an overlay of 3-1 to 6-1, and the 11 has an overlay of 5-1 to 8-1. All but the 2 and the 10 have par plus numbers, and all of them show C zones.
The C zone score we're looking for is typically 50% or above. The early pace here, along with the trip handicapping, you see the 7 wants to pilot, the 6 can pilot or co-pilot. There are no straight co-pilots here in the opener. A bunch of versatile horses that can run pretty much anywhere on the track. And then a couple of closers. No first-time starters, and everybody's been within 5 lengths of the winner at the finish line. Along with our simulations, our regular handicapping, our trip handicapping, we do pace handicapping. Early on, it does look like the 9 horse, like a salt shaker, might actually be the quickest, a little left arrow action. It does have plenty of speed to its inside to overcome in what looks like a pretty competitive start to the race. At the end, the horse with the most late speed is the 7, Sir Ollie. So Sir Ollie, the 7 horse, can get to the lead, Terry, as the lone E. Certainly has the ability to close the race out at the end. It does look like he should be pretty competitive early on. Top total pace, usually the top 4 scores produce about 72% of all winners. You see a tie down here between the 11 and the 9. But really, from the 3 on up, it's a very competitive opener at Ellis Park. So how did you decide?
All right. Well, I started out with number 4, One Cool Dude. He has won 2 races in a row, going for a hat trick, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then I like the 9, like a salt shaker, drops in class today, has a high percentage trainer who wins 29 or 26% of the sprint races that he has a horse entered in. And he has a high percentage winning jockey. Sir Ollie, the 7th, my 3rd choice, has finished in the money in 8 of his last 10 races, winning 2 of those starts, has a high percentage winning jockey. Then I like number 11, Communication Memo. He finished fourth, only beating 3/4 of the length at Ellis Park, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. We get $100 budget each day. We bet $2 to win on our first choice, and then we bet a $1 exacta box on our first 2 choices, a 50-cent trifecta box on our first 3 choices, and a 10-cent superfecta box on our first 4 choices. Today there's 9 races, so it leaves us a little bit of money left over. I believe around $24 to bet elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start the opener with the 6-horse. That's my top selection today to get started for the new week. That horse is Born Flawless. Blowout win in its last race. The thing I like about this horse is he tends to run well in bunches, does have a maintenance workout in between races, so should continue to be a sharp saw, and is making the second start after a layoff, which should be at least as good as the last one. Sir Ollie, that 7-horse, we did see it on the total pace right near the top there. Resume says he should be as good, most likely better in the second start off the sidelines. And if he can get to the front, again, we saw he has the late legs to close it out. One Cool Dude, Terry's top pick, gets my third call here, is making the classic third start after a layoff. This is the proper distance for this guy. 4 races, won 3 of them, and a close third. And then finally, Communication Memo, the 11, getting the 4th spot for me too. Much better early pace in its last. This horse does like to run at the distance too, just doesn't like to win. 7 times out, 6 times in the money, splitting a pair of seconds and thirds 3 times. No bets for me here with my additional money either. Looks like, what do we have, Terry? Are they loading up yet?
Yeah, they're getting close to loading, so it's pretty close. They're loading.
They're loading right now, so I have to pop in my credentials so that I can see what's going on in VG. All right, so here we go. Yeah, they're kind of walking towards the gate there. I don't think we have time to get started for race number 2, Terry. So while we get started, before we go on to make the race call for race number 2, let's talk a little bit about how people can go about getting themselves involved and making sure they don't miss anything.
Well, if you really like what you see here, and I know you're going to, you need to subscribe to YouTube, hit that little bell so that we're notified about the programs coming up, and then go ahead and copy the link down below and share it with everybody you know, friends, neighbors, relatives, just so that everybody can come and check us out too, because I know they're going to like it. And then go to our social sites at Horse Race, the number 2 day. Give us thumbs ups and likes. That really helps us out. And any time you give us any kind of comments or picks during our shows, that also helps us out quite a bit.
Any kind of interactivity helps us with the algorithms perfectly. Also, if you could share our content with your friends that you know like horse racing, we greatly appreciate that. All right, let's see how they're lining up in the first race. And hopefully we can find ourselves a winner in our 3rd time at the lucky Ellis Park. Right now, looks like they're all set. The track is muddy, which is interesting because they're running in the mud and then also running in the grass, which usually they don't do, right, Terry?
No, normally if it's like this, they'll take it off the turf.
So the 6-horse has bolted to the lead, Mr. Terry. He's got it's kind of a distant view here, and looks like pretty much a farm area of the country there. You see a lot of grass in the background. The 6-horse, Born Flawless, right now is running a flawless race. He's out on the lead. The Like a Salt Shaker is in there in second. You got some horses trying to press up on the bottom there as the 6-horse continues to hold the lead. The 4 to its outside has decided it wants to engage. Those 2 are battling it out as they go through the turn. The 4-horse, the favorite right now at 9-5, has taken over. Along to its outside is the 9-horse, it looks like, in there. But they're still all hanging in there. Down around the corner they come. The 9-horse looks like it might take over. But you got another one coming up on the outside here. I don't know who this is. That's coming with some aggression. But the horse is turning its head. The 4-horse continues to hold the lead. The 9-horse continues to press. It does look like at the rail it's going to go 9, 4, 5, and 6. 9, 4, 5, and 6. So Terry with the 9-horse in there, Like a Salt Shaker, was the look at this, Terry, was the top par plus horse as well as the top simulated odds horse, which is why we put these odds together. And that one went off at 5-2. Went off, it looks like, as the co-favorite along with the 4.
Yeah, nice price actually. 5-2. Paid $7 for a $2 bet. At least 7.
Yeah, that always works. You got the exact up top 2 to get going. So off to a good start at Ellis Park. Let's see if we can continue that trend, Terry, in race number 2.
All right. So race number 2 is another 6.5 furlong race. It's an allowance race, $73,000 purse. It's for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won a race other than a maiden, claiming, or starter, or which have never won 2 races.
Yeah, and at this distance here, what we're looking for, Terry, are horses that have, as we mentioned, some early speed. You saw the speed kind of hold up but fade off, but it was really the horses that ran in the shotgun positions, and that's been the bias at the track. Only one went wire to wire, a little bit of a rail penalty. 2 through 7 get a bonus. 8 and out, nobody's won. Then the 9 horse couldn't get by. Well, it did get by, so that's changed just now. So in race number 2, Terry, tell us all about the stats.
Well, if you look there, that really the only speed in there is the 5 and the 6, with the 5 being the best. Although they could go head to head, especially if that 5 doesn't get a real great break. The 5 has an overlay of 5-1 to 8-1, and the 7 has an overlay from about almost 5.5 to 1 to 20 to 1. Really nice. 6, 5, 7 are the only par plus numbers, and they all show C-zone numbers, with the number 5 being a little bit low.
Our trip handicapping, very balanced race. 2 on the front, 2 in the middle, 2 in the back. So in this kind of race shape, well, usually the horse that gets the best trip, Tannenbaum, should be the quickest out of the gate. So maybe he pulls it forward in front of the 6 or 7, although those 2 want to be pace setters. So they might try to bolt out in front of the 5, maybe work a little too hard. At the end of the race, it does look like Blue Squall, Amy Z, the 2 closers, will do exactly what they're supposed to do, close. So looking at the trip handicapping, looking at the pace, everybody should line up and be pretty happy about where they are on the track. At the end of the race, it does look like Blue Squall and Eldora, the 4 and the 7, are a length better than everybody else, because every 5 points equates to roughly 1 length. Terry, how do you see this one playing out?
Well, I like the 6, lots and lots of candy. She won her last race at Churchill Downs by 7 lengths, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and she has a good 5 furlong workout on July 20th. Then I like 4, Blue Squall. She drops in class today, has a high percentage winning jockey, blinkers are added, and she has a good workout on July 24th. And then I like the 1, Twirling Good Time. Drops in class today, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. The 5, Tenenbaum. It's my long shot. She has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I'm going to play what we do as a Don Johnson Miami Vice pick 4s. I'm going to play the 4-6 with the 6-8 with the 1-2-4-5-7 and finish up with the 1-3-5-6-7. I believe that's a $50 ticket.
I'll start off the second race with the Christmas tree. Oh, Tannenbaum. Oh, Tannenbaum. The back class is absolutely 1,000% there. A workout on June 4 for 11.2 seconds. Says we should see a piece of that class today. Lots and lots of candy. That was always a good idea, particularly around Halloween. Just needs to repeat her last race to live up to her favorite status. Number 4, Blue Squall. It's CV. Says she should step forward today. And that step forward should be good enough to win at this level. Then finally, the 1 horse Twirling Good Time did show some signs of life in its last race, and she can rewind back to her debut. Could actually prove to be an easy winner. I felt like there's a lot of different possibilities in all of the races, so I went 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 all the way through. That's $40.50 with my top 3 picks, getting the call along the way. Next call for you and I is going to be race number 3, Terry. So let me pull that up on the screen right here.
Okay.
And then we can talk about the conditions for race number 3.
Well, we're going to stretch out to a mile, and it's a maiden race. It's a $71,000 purse for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. Maidens.
Yeah. And at 1 mile on the main track, because they do have a couple on the turf today at a mile. Tactical speed does pretty well. The rail gets a bonus, so Dream On Stormy might do all right from that spot. 2 and 3, they get penalized, so keep an eye out for that. 4 through 7 gets a bonus. 8 and out, a penalty. So tactical speed, not necessarily, again, on the lead, Terry, but at least close to the lead. It sure looks like one of them, though, is going to set the tone that they all have to try to match.
That's right. Several show some speed, but that one shows so much more speed than the rest. That one should get there before anybody else, that quarter pole. Then that 8 shows an overlay from what, 1 to 5 to 1 to even money. Then the 8 and the 6 have this par plus, and the 8's being the best par plus. And then all but the 1, 6, and 7 have C zones.
Our trip handicapping for the third race. Nobody really wants to be forward. A couple pressure horses. 5, 6, and 7 have not been within 5 lengths of the leader so far. And you got a closer in the 3. A lot of times these races are one closer to the front than they are from off the pace. So let's see. Dream On Stormy. Yeah, that one definitely, according to our simulations, with a big chance to get to the lead. According to its pace figures, the rail horse is about a length and a half faster than everybody else. Really no big speed to its outside. So the one should get its way early on. Question is, what will the fractions look like? At the end, let's talk about me. That big favorite does have a big late race advantage as well, about a length better than everybody else. And they all should be packed up, competing for second spot behind the one horse. So the 8 should have a pretty good position as well. It also is our top total pace horse, about 3/4 of a length clear of the 6. And then the 2, pretty big drop off to the speed horse then, Terry. Maybe that 8 horse can live up to its 1-to-1 odds. What do you think?
Well, I like the 8. Let's talk about me. She ran second versus tougher in her last 2 races, drops in class today, switches to high percentage winning jockey, and her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Then I like the 6 as my second choice. Finished third versus similar in her only start, switches to a high percentage jockey and can improve it this longer distance. It's kind of disappointing race in her last race and stumbled at the start, and I think that gives her an excuse. She drops in class today, and she should improve it, returning to her route. Then the 3 Victorious Nyquist, my third or long shot, drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No additional bets here for me.
Yo, Levin, I'm going to take a crack at beating that even money favorite. Run back to her debut, and any improvement off of that would give that one a really good chance to take out number 8. Let's talk about me. And all of the races it's run so far, it probably, if it runs any of them, for the most part, wins for fun against most of these, except maybe the 2. Or the 6, Caletha. If this one has its normal second start improvement that horses generally enjoy, it could pull off the upset and take out the 8 as well. And then I feel like Dream On Stormy, that one horse had a long shot. You got the big rail bonus. You got that big early speed advantage. This horse could steal the race going wire to wire. If its fractions are light, then it could make the wire to wire effort happen. No additional bets for me either as we move along to race number 4, Terry.
All right. This is a mile race, and it's on the turf. It's a maiden claiming race, $30,000 claiming price with a $30,000 purse. It's for maidens, 3-year-olds, and upward.
And at a mile on the grass, which is going to be, I think it's considered good right now. I don't know if it's going to rain there or not anymore, but they're leaving them on the grass. So thumbs up to the folks down in Kentucky for not heading on over to the dirt. 11 races at a mile on the grass. Stalkers have done good, but still 2 managed to win wire to wire, so you can get there from the front. Big time rail bonus for Bolt Action, 2 and 3 penalized. 4 through 7 really struggle. 8 and out a big bonus, but still not as good as the rail. So a kind of a barbell, be on the rail, be outside at a mile on the grass, Terry. Speed still has a chance in the 4th race, so who's got that speed?
Well, the 1 and the 10 have the most speed in there, as you can see, and so it could go head-to-head to that quarter pole for them. That 1 has an overlay from about 7 to 5 to 5 to 2. The 5 has an overlay from 2 to 1 to 9 to 2, and the 10 has an overlay from 6.5 to 1 to 10 to 1. The 1, 5, 10, and 2 show the par plus numbers, with the 1 being the best, and 9, 7, and 10 have the best C zones.
And then as far as our trip handicapping, let's take a look at the 4th race. Again, 4 and 8, they're going to give it a go for the first time, so you don't know what they'll bring to the table. The 3, Glen Beach. The 6, Track of My Tears, have not been within a handful of lengths of the leaders. 1, Bolt Action. 2, Gotta Have Dreams. 5, John Street Band. They want to close. 7, 9, and 10, they like the pressure. So early on, it does look like the one horse. That's because they don't have any numbers in there, folks. But the one horse is, I have to set these to 0. I'm working on something else. But the 1 and the 10, as our simulation showed, they do have the most early speed, although the 10 is going to have to work its way around traffic as they head into that turn. At the end of the race, John's Street Band, a little bit more than a length faster than the horse up front, Bolt Action. Those two basically tying for the top spot. And then you do have a little bit of a jump off to the Money Hungry. So maybe the 1 and 5 as your experienced horses. And then what are your thoughts on the first timers?
All right. Well, I like the 5, John Street Band, one of those experienced ones. Ran second versus similar on the dirt in his only start. His breeding suggests he'll like the grass. He has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 28% of the first route race he has a horse competing in. Then I like Sagittarius. The 7 is my second choice. Has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and best dirt speed is fastest among today's winners or starters. Number 1, Bolt Action, third choice. Drops in class today. Rail Post is winning 28% clip. He has a high percentage trainer, winning trainer who wins 18% of the races when taking a horse from a maiden race to a maiden claiming race. And he has a high percentage winning jockey. And then I like one of those first-time starters, the 4, Rejoiner. She has breeding that suggests she'll like the grass, and she also has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No additional bets for me in here either.
Bolt Action, I think, is the only pure maiden special weight dropper in the field, has a big time rail bonus. And the average race that this horse has run is better than the 5-2 odds that it's going to get. So if you get 5-2 on Bolt Action, I think that is a value. John Street Band did have a funky start in its debut. Normal second career race improvement puts him as a real challenger to the maiden special weight dropper. 6-pack Mumbles, the 8 horse, looks to be better of the first timers, I think, in terms of the number of points it generated. And then the 4 horse Rejoinder is the other first timer, because I don't really think after the 1 and 5 there's a whole lot to beat in here. Maybe the 7 or the 10. But trainer William Cohen's on the 4 horse wins at 32% with first time starters. That's a big number. But he's tried it 10 times on the grass and hasn't won yet. So I'm going along with a little gambler's fallacy here, that with that big first-time win rate, he's due to finally find one on the grass. I'm going to put $24 to win. The big rail advantage, the big class advantage in terms of its performances so far, and the pure maiden special weight dropper, collecting all of my money on the 1 horse as my bet in race number 5. How you doing, Peter Munoz? Let's see what we got here. Let's translate this to English. What time does Ellis Park's race start? Well, the first one just went off about 5 minutes ago. So the next one, race number 2, is due in about 14 minutes. So hopefully we should be, I don't know where we'll be in terms of the card, but imagine we'd have 1 or 2 races to go when race number 2 starts. So we're going to go to race number 5.
Okay. And in race number 5, we're going to go to 6 furlongs. It's an allowance race, $50,000. Purse $37,000 for fillies 3-year-olds, which have started for a claiming price of $50,000 or less, or which have broken their maiden in a maiden auction race, and which have never won a race other than a maiden or claiming or waiver claiming.
So to get a win that satisfies all of those, or some of those, or part of those conditions, you're looking for horses in race number 5 that have early speed. A lot, 31% so far, have gone wire to wire, 5 of the 16 races. There's a little bit of a rail bonus for Dark Fury. 2 and 3 get a penalty. 4 through 7 play fair. 8 and out get a bonus as well. So pretty much the only place you don't want to be is post 2 or 3. You do want to be forwardly placed, Terry. And who is going to be on the lead here?
Well, you see there that the 7, 5, and 2 all have pretty a lot of speed, although the 7 has the most. But it's another of those who knows races on who's going to get to that quarter pole first. 7 shows an overlay from almost 5-2 to 5-1, and the 8 shows an overlay from 7-2 to 10-1. The 7 and 8 have the best. The 5, 7, and 8 have the par plus numbers, and all but the 5 shows C zones.
This is another one of those races where you are might make a big difference. All that, everybody wants to be forward. Only one Ballardy has a little bit of flexibility. So these Sesame Street horses, the ones that are unlike the others, are really worth paying attention to. All these guys want the front. So somebody's not going to get there, and you could see them back off. Does look like Gloriette, Reagan's Flame, and the Innocents are the quickest of those front runners. Maybe the 5, you still got the 2 and 3 on the inside. So really competitive early part of this race. Probably going to come down to who has the most stamina at the end. Does look like the pressure horse Dark Fury is about a length faster than everybody else, but could find itself 2 lengths off the lead. So maybe not enough late speed to make up the difference. At the end of the race, Reagan's Flame and Gloriette, along with Dark Fury, Samba Dorada, those 4 in the top 4. Usually those were the winners found. We're going to find out about Terry's winners right now.
Well, I like that 5, Reagan's Flame. She comes in from Churchill Downs after running second in her last race to try Ellis Park for the first time. She has the highest last race speed rating and can improve at the shorter distance. Then the 7 is my second choice. She won her last race at Churchill Downs. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. She has a high percentage winning jockey. Then the 1, Dark Fury, is my third choice, won her last race. The Rail Post is winning at a 19% clip, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. Baldardy, the 3, is my long shot, won her last race at Churchill Downs, drops in class today, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No additional bets for me in this race.
I like the 5 horse to get the job done in the 5th race. 7, excuse me. Lucky 7 and 5. It's probably going to be your pace setter. Does have one of the strongest C zones in here, making the 3rd start after a layoff for the very first time in its career. So maybe finding healthy horse. Does have a solid workout between races to keep this all sharp. If not, Reagan's Flame should also be one of those horses that's finally healthy in the 3rd start after a layoff and should improve. Number 6, Samba Dorada. This is another one of those horses that I feel like should challenge for the front and just needs to add a little bit to the enhancement that the horse had in the 2nd career start. Finally, End of the Innocence. Was that Don Henley, right? Dominated in her last race. Best 3 workouts that they have published anywhere since that race. So maybe the End of the Innocence for Don Henley is what I call a lights-on horse. Horse that had some talent kind of muddled around early on in its career, and then all of a sudden, the lights come on. I hope that might be the case there for that 8. Race 6, a bunch of first-time starters in here, Terry, or horses that have limited experience. So we really couldn't do our simulations, but that doesn't stop us from talking about the conditions.
Yeah, it's a 1 mile race. It's for maidens, $71,000 purse. For maidens, fillies, 2-year-olds.
And at 1 mile, you see this funky start right here, Terry. They come out of this little chute right there. You'd expect that would have some impact on post positioning. But as far as the speed is concerned in the 6th race, tactical speed, you do need to get position, it looks like, going into that turn. It does look like if you're on the rail and you can get to that turn first, you do get a bonus. 2 and 3 look like they get shuffled pretty regularly because there's a pretty sizable penalty there. 4 through 7, they get a bonus. 8 and out, they might get pushed wide. So 2 and 3, 8 and out, bad places to be. Everywhere else, not so bad, Terry. A little bit of tactical speed will go a long way in the 6th race. Again, no simulations. We do get a little bit of a look at what some of the other horses have done with some experience. 6 and 7 tried to close. This handful of horses right here were nowhere near the leader. And this quartet making the first time start today. Just as a matter of principle, 2-year-olds where none of them got forward, none of them came close to the finish line, and 4 of them are making their first start, by definition, is a wide open race, Terry.
That's right. It really is. But I like that number 3 horse, Peanut Gallery, first time starter who has a dam that has 3 winners from 3 starters, and one of them was the stakes winner. She has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then I like 7, Totally Justified, drops in class today, has a trainer who wins 23% of the races in the horse's second career race, can improve at the longer distance, and the best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then the 8 here for a good time, it drops in class today, switches to high percentage winning jockey, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. Then I like the 2 Quinn's Promise. She finished third versus similar in her only start, and she has a trainer who wins 18% of the races when taking a horse from a sprint to a route. I'm going to play a 50-cent Miami Vice, Don Johnson pick 4. I'm going to use the 2, 3, 7, and 8 with the 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8 with the 2, 5, 6, 9, 10, and single the 8 in the last leg. That's a $50 play.
I'm going to go with the 8 horse on top in this race full of horses trying to get their first wins. The 8 horse, if you read through the comments, really had kind of a quirky trip. Tough start, some problems as the race moved on. So if this horse can get off to a better start today, could close this field out. Number 7, Totally Justified, is the second call for me. This one needs just a touch of second race improvement to find the winner's circle. Number 4, Take Charge Melody is my third choice in here. I just looking at my 3-point scale, again, you get 1 point if you get the maximum score for the trainer's first time start stats, 1 point if you got decent enough breeding, mama makes winners, or the breeding scores there, and then a point if your workouts are on time. And Take Charge Melody gets 2.9, the highest score of the first time starters. And then Peanut Gallery, you do have Brad Cox, probably the top trainer in this race, unquestionably. His go-to jockey and Florent Guru on a first-time starter. You do like that. Does have solid works. We know all about the trainer right now. The breeding is there as well. I just feel like the 4's numbers, notwithstanding Brad Cox, were better. I'm going to go with a pick 4. For my top 4 picks here, the next race looks very similar to this one, so my top 4 picks there. And then 3 by 2, that's $48. Race 7, Terry, we have another race full of, I think all of them are first-time starters except for 1. What are the conditions here?
There are 6 furlongs, a maiden race with the purse 71,000 for maidens 2-year-olds.
Yes, indeed. Most of them are making their first start, as you will see here. I had to actually extend some stuff out down here to go down this deep. But 16 horses that were originally in the race, only one of them, True Violence, has any history at all. And that one didn't finish within 5 lengths of the leader. Otherwise, everybody else going to give it a go for the first time. Terry, and when the race is over, who's going to go to the winner's circle?
I like that one horse, Thunderhawk, finished is a first-time starter whose sire wins 35% of the races with first-time starters, has the dam that has 6 winners from 8 starters, 1 stakes winner, has a high percentage winning jockey. Then another one first-time starter, the 4 True Violence is my second choice. Oh, I'm sorry, was not a first-time starter, finished third in his debut race after being bumped and being in tight quarters at the 16th. And he has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 29% of the races in the second career start that he has a horse racing in. He has a high percentage winning jockey. Then I like the 2 as my third choice, a first-time starter whose sire wins 19% of the races with first-time starters, as a dam who has 2 winners from 4 starters, with one of them being a stakes winner. He has a high percentage winning jockey. And then I'm going to finish up with my long shot as a 6, Smooth and Silky, another first-time starter whose breeding suits today's distance and who has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. No additional bets for me in here.
I'm going to start with the 15 snap call that got snapped into this race thanks to some scratches. This is a first-time starter that got 3 of 3 points for me. Does have a really sharp July 12th work at Ellis Park, 5 furlongs. Ran it in under a minute, 59.3 seconds for Hall of Fame trainer Steve Asmussen. Number 6, Smooth and Silky, is my second choice in there, Terry. This guy got 2.8 out of 3 points. Does have a back bullet May 4th, so it came out of the gates over there. I noticed, too, a lot of horses that train at Turfway Park, for whatever reason, those workouts translate to other tracks when they're running. Ran 4 furlongs and 47 and 4. You know what that is, Terry?
Fast.
Fast, indeed. The 4-horse, True Violence. That's the only horse in here with any experience in the race. And if the horse improves at all in its second start, it would give it a score above par for this level. So one has a shot no matter what. And then finally, the 1-horse Thunderhawk gets that hot rail, does have solid breeding. Trainer wins all right. Workouts are okay. So 15, 6, 4, and 1 for me. And they're all in my pick 4. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if something completely different than what Terry or I have in the 2-year-olds actually ends up winning, because anything could happen.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, almost reflexively when you're doing 2-year-old horses, especially in fields this deep, I feel like it's an all button almost all of the time, except when you press that all button, the 4 to 5 will come home the winner, right?
Yeah, that's right.
If you're watching us for the first time on Twitter, thank you. Kindly retweet our stuff. Follow us if you haven't so far. You can follow me over at HRT Rich on Twitter as well. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, kindly hit the subscribe button. There's also a share button. Share our content with your friends. Of course, Facebook is basically the mothership at Horse Race the number 2 day. Our great friend, Sean, Swiss Army Sean, does a wonderful job of keeping you up to speed with some of the good stuff that's going on in horse racing this day and every day. Race number 2, we got 1 minute to go, so we really don't have much time to get prepped for the next race, Terry. So just a reminder that today's free track over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, there is a link in the description below, is Finger Lakes. You were there, Terry, right? What did you think of the track, your day?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. There weren't too many people there the day I was there, though. It was kind of odd. But, yeah, it was pretty nice. And actually, in that first race, we actually hit GTS hit the trifecta. So
did it pay anything?
Now let me look.
$8.04. No,
yeah, that's it. Well, that's fine for 10 cents. You box those. For 50 cents, you box those 3 horses for $3, and you're going to make $15. So
Horse Race 2024. They have a private mafia. I think most mafias are private, aren't they? I mean, I don't know. You could get in one. I would like to be in a mafia of some sort. I don't know, where you get a little bit of extra bonuses or something. I don't know. I don't want to be in a mafia.
Yeah.
I shouldn't joke about that, because somebody on the other end right now might be watching who actually is. And I'm going to get a phone call. Hey, I need a favor.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do? All right. So the 6-horse in the second race right now, that one is your favorite at 4 to 5. It looks like the bettors are backing that one fairly aggressively. They're off and running. And it's a pretty clean start for everybody. They're about 6 wide across the track. Does look like right now who is going to go to the lead? It looks like the 5 and the 6. Those two have gotten out to the front. The 6-horse is trying to clear, but the 5 is keeping his nose inside of his tail. He has since relinquished the lead as the 6 has bolted out to the front. You got the 4-horse there in a stalking position outside the 5, about a gap of 2 horses back to the 1-horse, Twirling Good Time, and to Amy Z. Front 3 continue to lead. Not much change there. The 7-horse in the back trying to make a run here. Right now, it does look like the 5-horse has given up. Maybe those inside rails not really the place to be, because we saw that happen in the last race. The horse that got to the lead went down to the post and backed up on the sloppy track. So maybe that's something to keep an eye out on. The 4-horse right now is trying to find its way up against that 6-horse. Looks like you got that 1-horse on the outside coming aggressively, but this race looks like it's between the 4 and the 6. That's the 7-horse, Aludra, coming up on the outside. The 6-horse, properly backed by the bettors at 4 to 5, making it an easy winner. The 7-horse coming in second, then the 4, then the 2, then the 1, and then the 5-horse kind of jogging in at the end. So early speed, not holding up yet in the mud. It does look like you don't want to get to the front and then move your way down to the rail, because that's the second race in a row we saw a horse get to the lead, move down to the rail, and then tire at the end. So maybe the rail is a little bit deep. So look for outside speed, I would say. Maybe not the front runner, but a horse that can sit shotgun and then kind of use the outer part of the track to close, because there was the 9-horse and then the 6-horse. So 2 of the most wide horses coming home after somebody beat them to the punch on reasonable fractions on the inside. I read that as a very deep, wet rail, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing race number 7 now. We just did 7. So
And we're
now we're
doing
going to do the first leg of the late daily double. Tell us about race number 8.
It's a mile and 16th. It's a turf race. It's an optional claiming race, $50,000 claiming price. If you elect to put your horse in there to possibly be claimed, it's a purse of $76,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won $18,000 twice, other than a maiden claiming starter or state bred, or which have never won 3 races, or a claiming price of $50,000.
And at $1.16 on the grass, only 4 races so far. Stalkers have gotten the job done. 0 went wire to wire. 2 won from the rail. So Scooby Quandro could make it. 3 1 from post 4 through 7, 1 from 8 and out. So it does look like, at least preliminarily, that post positions play kind of fair. No real advantages in there. Terry, you don't want to necessarily be on the front, but you also don't want to get too far back in race number 8. So some of them, well, it looks like most of the speed scratched out, except for maybe that 2 horse.
Well, that 3 and 2, let's see, the 3 got scratched too, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the 2 has the only speed in here. And then 4 shows an overlay of from 5 to 1, well, just over 5 to 1 to 15 to 1. The only overlay I really see. Several of them have par plus numbers, as you can see there. At least 4 of them do. And then all but the 6 show seasonals.
So you got a couple in here. The 7 horse with a really high one, above 50%. That's what we're hoping to see. And then as far as par plus, if you're new, we do 10,000 simulations. And in those 10,000 simulations, we look to see how many times they run a speed figure at or equal to or above par for the level. So 3,430 times. Scooby Quando did run a speed figure of at least 91. That's a pretty good performance. And then race shape wise, for the 8th race, you'll see here that 2 and 8 want to go out front. Everybody else, with the exception of the 4, wants to close. I know I said nobody's one wire to wire, but when 2 of them get a chance to go out to a lead and not really have to work for it, should give them a shot to be up front and really have a great chance to stay there. Tatanka, that one is a little bit more than a length faster than American Mayhem. The 8 horse Desert Duke might not be able to keep pace early with that 2 horse. At the end of the race, though, El Cabong, the PC type, the lone PC type, should get a fantastic trip. American Mayhem, a bunch of closers in there. Scooby Quando, that rail horse. Our top total pace horse in this mile and the 16th is American Mayhem. That one is about a length better than Kiddodan, the 12 horse. So you get a 5.1 length win, Terry, on the total pace. Usually one that you have to pay special attention to in your picks. Did you?
I like the 9 Tappet Shoes, one the only start that he has had on the turf, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then I like the 10 out of deductions. He has finished in the money in 4 out of the last 5 races, winning 2 of those starts. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. The 2 Tatanka is my 3rd choice, finished in the money in 8 out of his last 10 races, winning 4 of those starts, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey as well. And then the 6 American Mayhem is my long shot. Ran 2nd in his last race. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey and a good workout on July 23rd. No bets in here for me.
I'm going to start with 12 horse, Kiddodan. Almost closed it out at this level last time in its race. Today, that was at a mile. I think if it got to run at a mile 16th, 1 race back, it would have won. So that extra 16th mile is a difference maker today for the 12. Tatanka just missed against the 12 last out. Should be as good, probably better in the second up, and maybe has a pace advantage today over the 12, but not a whole lot of other speed to contend with early on. That 9 horse Tappet Shoes definitely been facing the toughest competition in this field. Actually ran in the Belmont Stakes. Didn't really fare well, but you know there were some quality horses in that group. And then the 6 horse American Mayhem at Ellis Park on the grass, 4 times out, a couple of wins, a 2nd and a 3rd. The horse has some versatility. This one can move forward or can run in the middle of the pack and still get the job done. That brings us to the last race today, when our job will be done for Ellis Park today. Tomorrow, we will do Horseshoe Indianapolis. Wednesday, we're going to do Saratoga. Thursday, we'll do Saratoga, and maybe we'll have a bonus with Del Mar as well. So keep track on our social sites, as we mentioned. They are scrolling down there below. you haven't followed us at any of them, please follow us on all of them. We'd love to have your help getting us to 10,000 viewers, subscribers on YouTube, because then YouTube unlocks some additional tools for us. And 1 out of 10 people hit the subscribe button. So be part of the 1 out of 10, not the 9 out of 10. And if you like what you saw today, give us a thumbs up, a follow, a like, all of the good things that provide some interactivity. For the last race at Ellis Park today, Terry, what's going on?
Well, we're going to finish up at a mile on the turf. It's an allowance race, $73,000 purse for fillies 3-year-olds, which have never won 2 races.
A mile on the grass will be the second go at it today, so pay attention to the first one to see how it works. But so far in the 11 races that they've conducted at 1 mile on the grass, 1 complete turn around the track. You have 2 of the 11 have gone wire to wire. Big time rail bonus for these apples. 2 and 3, a bit of a penalty. 4 through 7, struggle. 8 and out, a big bonus. So again, inside or outside, and speed can be useful if you can get away with it. Terry, looks like 1 again, a little bit quicker than the rest.
That's right. That 4 shows the most speed, followed up by the 3. And then you've got the 10. The 3 has an overlay from about 3 to 5 to 5 to 2. The 9 has an overlay from 4.5 to 1 to 10 to 1. The 3 also has the only par plus number, and all of them show C zones in here.
And today, for our final time, race shape, 4, 7, and 10 want to be on the front. The 6 wants to pressure. There's another one of those Sesame Street horses, unlike any of the others. 1, 3, 8, and 9 want to close. Looks like, from the pace at least, does look like that 3 horse. Big Trouble is what we call a left arrow horse, which might prove to be big trouble for all of the rest, because those closers that move their way forward, a lot of times they're very difficult to deal with at the end of the race. Pendulum, the 8 horse, is your top closer, just a few points higher than Autumn Chill. Those 2 should be at the very back of the pack, so maybe a worst to first run for Pendulum. Our top total pace horse in here is Big Trouble. It's, 7 points clear of Pendulum and Autumn Chill. So it does look like Big Trouble could spell big trouble for the final race today, Terry. But you're going to go with somebody else as your bet of the day.
That's right. I'm going to go with the 8 horse Pendulum. She's finished in the money in 6 of her 7 career races. She's won 1 of the starts, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Then I'm going with the 3 Big Trouble. She ran second versus Tougher in her last race. Drops in class. Her turf speed is fast as Punk today started. She has a high percentage winning jockey. And then the 6 is my third choice. Drops in class today. Her dam produced 1 winner from 2. 1 winner and 1 turf winner, and she has a high percentage winning jockey. Then 9, the Autumn Chill, is my long shot. Drops in class today. Her breeding suggests she'll like the grass, as her dam has a turf winner. And then she has a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to bet my $24, 10 to win and 14 to place on number 8, Pendulum.
Number 3, Big Trouble, does have that top total pace score, 7 points better than everybody else. Just missed last out as a left arrow horse. I see reason for this horse to get better today and to close it out. Might be the favorite. Pendulum, the 8 horse, second choice for me, should be closing. Good chance to be better in the second start after layoff, and it's Terry's best bet of the day. Number 9, Autumn Chill. This one's coming back as a 3-year-old, going to catch a weight break. And one of the benefits of coming back as a 3-year-old is you get to use Lasix for the first time, and that's what's going to happen with Autumn Chill today. Definitely face better than it's facing today as a 2-year-old. And then finally, number 7, Sarir. This one comes in from Saratoga. I think Saratoga to Ellis is probably a track drop. Coming in for a high probability winner, Wesley Ward, with some early speed. You can never overlook an early speed horse from Wesley Ward, particularly on the grass. No additional bets for me. Here are our picks for today. Looks like early on, the 9 horse won the first race, then the 6 horse, Terry's second pick, followed by his first pick. Here are the rest of our picks for the rest of this day. Again, tomorrow we'll be back for Horseshoe Indianapolis about 10 minutes before post. Make sure you hit the subscribe button along with the bell so that you know when we're going to go live on YouTube, Twitter, wherever else we might post our content. Kindly share it. Any final thoughts from you, Terry, today before we part ways and start looking forward to Indianapolis?
Well, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of this week, has a good time. I see Race Masters changed its name, her name from Race Masters to Horse Racing 2024. So good luck to him, and just have a great time this week. Be careful and safe. That's about it.
Well, again, Finger Lakes off to a decent start with the trifecta. Free picks, description below. You know the routine about helping us out with some interactivity, thumbs up, the likes, the follows, and all that. And a little bit after the show is over, we'll post all of our notes over on horseracingtoday.net along with a recap of the show. You'll find that there. And while you're there, hit the HRT gear, hook yourself up with a Horse Racing Today hat, t-shirt, sweater, bib. They have coffee mugs. We have all of it there. So we greatly appreciate your support on that. But most importantly, whatever it is you're doing for the rest of this Muddy Monday, please be kind to one another. And may your day be filled with God's grace and God's favor. And every single thing that you do ends up in
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks for joining us on Muddy Monday. We'll see you for Terrific Terry Tuesday tomorrow.